Oh, good lord, chat. It is definitely a fucking Monday. Didn't even look at the chat screen. I literally opened OBS to the opening animation. So let's see, am I standing in the right place? I am, thank God.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't spread over every egg.
You're right, I forgot to post the weekly schedule in the Discord. I knew I was forgetting something last night. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it right now. Yeah, Marin, I put Maine. Marin, go ping. Here we go. There we go. Get pinged, losers. Get pinged. Every time I do a purposeful at everybody or a at merry-go-round, my brain is always like, get pinged, losers, get pinged. Because I know y'all are gonna react as like the fucking ping reacts. Who needs schedules and do we want? No, I posted the schedules to social media yesterday. I just forgot to post them to the Discord. That's basically the only thing that happened. But I feel like fucking Dookie. Good song, though. Good song. How dare you ping me in Discord? I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Oh my God, not the shakes. 125 stream streak. Jesus. Jesus. My goodness. Don't you fucking dare. Commit rope? We'll commit rope. We can break out the rope.
Wake the fuck up, samurai.
Yeah, there's the ping bird.
We have a city to burn.
Yeah. All right, kids. Good timing, actually. Good timing. Hi, Johnny. How was y'all's fucking weekend, first of all? Did you get anything good? Did you do anything fun? Did you get into any trouble? Anybody? Anybody? Trouble? Trouble? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. I'll hear about it and I'll tell your mom. I will tell your mom. 7th birthday? Whose 7th birthday? Whose 7th birthday? I got free Lego. Was it the wait, what do you mean free Lego? What do you mean free Lego? Explain. Explain to me. Hi, Pippin. Any-hoosits. Only being overworked on the weekends? Ugh. That seems to be the case with everybody right now. Seems to be the case with everybody. For getting into trouble to start the week, it doesn't fucking feel like it. I feel like I said, I feel like Dookie. It's not even physically. Well, it could technically count as physically. I tried to go to the gym today without having like any kind of caffeine. I literally just brought water with me after having pre-workout. I found a tub of pre-workout yesterday in the pantry, and I thought it was just like a really old one that nobody was using. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. I haven't had pre-workout in a long time. So I did like half a scoop. First, when I opened the top, turns out it'd never been opened. It'd been in there for who knows how long. It just never been opened. And then codes broke. I think I decided to start from scratch and it broke again. What sacred codes? Drink water with stuff? Yeah. You should drink water. I mostly drink water. Cool, crisp water on a hot Texas summer day. Fuck yeah. Overcomplicating drinking, shaking my head. Well, no. I was going to the gym and I wanted to try pre-workout again. I put ants under my skin. I was there for 2 hours just trying to work the ants out. I ain't leaving the gym until the fucking pre-workout ants are gone. Water, protein, and alcohol. Is that what you're saying? That's the only things you need to drink? I actually had a great weekend. I got to network with some local comic artists. I also got to see the 35th anniversary. Ooh, wait, 35th? This is the one that we see pictures of the old costumes for. That's like deteriorated to shit, I'm guessing, right? There's an easier way to get ants under your skin. I don't think there's anything much easier than just drinking a potion. Is there any easier way to decide to put ants under your skin than just drinking a potion instead of like, I don't know, slicing open your arms and sticking it in fire ant nest or some shit? Drugs. I feel like I'm fucking tweaking every time I do pre-workouts. I go to the gym. You go to the fucking gym, chat. Go to the gym on pre-workout. Feels like you're fucking tweaking. What's worse, like I mentioned ants under my skin because that's the best way to describe it. And sometimes it feels like it's itching. So you do the thing where you like reach down and like maybe scratch it to see if like maybe that alleviates the like irritation. And the second you scratch like this one spot, it's then like just suddenly covers the entire region and it sucks. Annie, thank you for the 220 stream streak. Holy shit. I made the mistake earlier today of looking at, I woke up crummy and didn't have caffeine. So I think that may have something to do with it. I really don't want to become reliant on caffeine to be in a good mood. But I looked at analytics this morning to see how any sort of like partner stuff is going. Does anybody remember how it was going last time? Closest thing to a gym this town has is a public fishing stream. Hey, that's pretty fucking great though. Listen, fishing's fantastic. My entire TikTok has just turned into fishing videos at this point. Uh-oh. Speaking of fishing, I was forgetting things because I literally wasn't sure if I was going to stream up until 5 minutes before I started. It's no longer in the walls of the cabins. He's now under Baron's skin. Ordain, get out of my skin! I think the funny thing, with that, whatever that dance emote is, anytime I see it, I always picture it. Like, I picture Ordain doing that dance, but now I picture Make Me. Well, there's technically nothing underneath the skin, so. Okay, enjoy the void. One tip of itch I hate the most is the one that moves around. It's worse when it's on your back. Bye, Ganon. Nope, lightweight, baby, lightweight. Oh my goodness. All right, back to big chat. I don't know why. I'm feeling in a zoomy mood. Hi, chat. We're gonna talk like this the whole time. How are you doing, chat? How are you doing? I'm awful, which is why I changed today's from doing The Demons Made Me Make This Game to Crime Scene Cleaner. Because I feel like ass. And so it shall be. And so we shall clean the horrors up yet again, but this time they're spookier. But what about this emote? I like that emote. Lights? What do you mean lights? I can get closer. How close can I get? Hey, chat, what are you doing? Chat. Hi, chat. How are you doing? Are you okay? Diablo 2? Why? Also, I cannot. Oh, it's Void. I can't read Void's head because it blends in with chat. Are we close enough? Is this how we're supposed to do this? Oh, Teefs? You want Teefs? I can do Teefs. 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 Nang. We could always break out the tongue. Oh, the tongue. Anyway. Wait a second. Here we go. What sharp tooths you have, all the better to bite you with. And not in the fun way. I just take pieces off and then cook them. Now we need the tongue. Now you need the tongue. I just realized how Rin actually gave it like direction to it. Or smooch it. You're gonna get flicked if you smooch it. But I don't know what else is going on. Hellscape. America's still awful. ICE is finally fucking around and finding out, and people are retaliating against them, and it's fucking hilarious. Was it last night? I think it was last night I started actually pulling heat on protesters. And I think I forget. Did I mishear it? Maybe I misheard it. But I don't think anybody's pulled heat on them yet, considering they're going around not identifying themselves in plain clothes. Which is so goddamn funny. You'll flick me anyway? That's true. I would flick Cannon. Through metal, then I have to respawn. I could definitely bite through metal. Where there's a will, there's a way. Thank you for the 15 stream streak. Oh my god, no, not the Lero. That's no cherry. There's no cherry. Well, I am technically red. I am technically red. What happened with ice? They started live firing. We have passed the apparently last night in San Bernardino. They have passed the point of using less lethal rounds. Doubling down on what? What, Pray? That's fucking crazy. Insane. What is this? Hold on. Oh, okay. I was wondering why Newsmax was trending. And it's because people are calling them out on, one, their bullshit, and two, the fact that their like case for being like sued over a bunch of stuff is going through. Okay. Oh god, and was it listed on the fucking... What? Trust in Delaware's courts is collapsing. Oh yeah, who would have thought that a bunch of businesses deciding to conglomerate in Delaware, that the entire fucking state was just going to bend over backwards for you. San Bernardino, California is a sanctuary state, I thought. Yeah, do you think they care? You know ICE and the National Guard are still in LA, right? Plague? You know they're still there, right? They haven't left. And they're still trying to yoink people. Nothing's changed. They're doing the same strategy they've done the past 6 months of, yeah, it's in court, sure, totally. But we're not going to do anything. We're not going to stop doing what we're doing until the court absolutely tells us we have to. Commenting that he's just waiting for DC to be over-policed so hard that someone takes a shot at National Guard declaring martial law. Somebody's gonna pull heat on some of these like plainclothes ICE agents. Like somebody's gonna get jumped. Like there was a lady in New York that was literally just ripped out of her front yard while her husband was inside, even though she'd lived in the United States 40 plus years. And the neighbors saw it happen. Man, with the by Prydain and Malbwinth. Are you okay, Bazant? Are you okay? San Fernando Valley, don't see any of it. Most of the protests are happening in like downtown areas, from what I've heard, or like downtown-ish areas, more urbanized areas. I don't know too much about the what's the word? Geography? Map layouts? Never? Oh god. Data they're going after is more of a security risk than letting them go after children. Plus he wants... Do you have an I think statement? I think this man wants to fuck children. What the shit is that? What the shit is that? That's insanity. I can't imagine saying that shit and then just like fucking blinky emote and it just, whoa, I didn't say nothing wrong or weird or anything. I'm taking your tacos. I don't have any tacos. That's why I only ate crackers just before stream. I was down in the dumps when I left the gym, so I didn't even get like anything to eat. And then when I decided I was going to stream, I was like, okay, I think there's like a pack of crackers sitting on the countertop. Oh, okay. There's also people losing their shit over... Oh, it's the Vikings. The Vikings cheerleader squad has a guy on it now. Okay, that's cool. I was gonna say, that's not that unusual. That's not that unusual. Like, almost every college has fucking dudes on their cheer teams. And none for chat, shaking my head. It was like 4 crackers. I was the one who like packed them up last night because when I went to refill my water before bed, it was just unfolded on top of the counter. And I was like, well, I guess I'll go put a chip clip on this. Isn't a Roblox company that profits through the work of children programming shit to do? Wait. Isn't Roblox the company that profits on the work of children programming? Yes, correct. Yes, exactly. They also make premium items that then the kids can sell on the marketplace for premium currency that they take a shave off of. Hi, Rin. A depression snack sounds good right now. I wish I had a depression snack in the house. I bought tortilla chips yesterday instead of like cheese puffs or anything. So I don't even have my Depresso cheese puffs. I'm gonna summon a persona and make Movement eat until... What? What does the persona have to do with this? Telling me that the government... Oh, yes, the government is trying to take the make the age of consent 14. And I just said, I'm not surprised. Look who's in charge. The thing is, I that's what I'm trying to figure out is from what I heard is the original was they want to try 14-year-olds as adults. They want to be able to try, basically they want to be able to try the shitheads that jumped Mr. Big Balls in the parking lot that essentially set off all of them calling in the fucking National Guard to Washington, D.C. Because this 19-year-old nicknamed Big Balls that worked at Doge got jumped and had his car taken by a group of 15-year-olds. And so they want, basically, almost certainly they just want to try those kids as adults. That's what they want to do. But I also don't doubt that if they do that, then they're not going to do things like, oh, lower like the age of working to 14, lower age of consent. I bet they will try to lower the age of consent to 14. We could place bets on that one. And I think almost every single one of us here would place bets. They would probably fucking try. Like, that's not even that surprising. Disgruntled youths. The most terrifying monster. The thing too is what group of 15-year-olds is like, why don't we carjack that dude? I've never known a group of 15-year-olds that's like, yeah, let's jump this dude that has a nice car. I don't know. The way I hear that story, the way it sounds like somebody paid those kids to go do that. That's what it feels like. That doesn't feel like an activity that a bunch of 15-year-olds come up with on their own. I can't force Melvin to eat. No. Chat, I have a question. What is your favorite conspiracy theory? Actually, what is the conspiracy theory that you believe in? What is the conspiracy theory that you believe in? I have recently come to the conclusion that apparently there's a lot that I like believe in or that I suspect. That Marin's goated. That's a conspiracy theory. I don't even look them up. Just like anything that's like to your mind is like, that's probably not real, but I think it's this. There's got to be something, Ordain. Got to be something. It's not like everybody believes in like the Mandela effect or something. If Ordain isn't Persona, is Ordain a Pokemon? Ordain's more like a Pokemon than he is Persona. What the fuck? Okay. Okay. Can't think of anything right now. The moon is made of cheese. Maybe the moon landing was fake. I don't know about that one. Believe the USB port exists in 4-dimensional space. Wrong way. Flip it. Wrong way. Flip it. Wrong way. Flip it. Right way. I don't even believe in verifiable facts. Your eyes are lying to you? Oh my god. Oswald didn't act alone. I do know that one. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Just don't believe stuff easier that way. I mean, like, we could probably go off and be like, Luigi didn't do it. Epstein probably didn't kill himself. Whenever you have 11 cameras in a prison and only 2 of them are working and neither of those 2 are pointed at the high profile person, and they catch footage on one of those two cameras of somebody walking away from the cell and they can't identify who the person is, that's a fucking joke, dude. That's a fucking joke. What's the other one? I don't think Trump was ever shot. I don't think he was ever shot. That man fucking had the goofiest bandage wrapping on his ear for like one appearance and then was totally fine. No scarring, no markings, no nothing else. The thing about medicinal shots, I don't remember how it's called, but it's about vaccines. Is that the word you're thinking of, Corvo? Make you immune, then you get sick after that with the exact thing that you took a shot of. That's because vaccines are usually weakened versions of that specific disease. Yeah, that's actually kind of half expected, Corvo. If you have a weak immune system and you get a vaccine, you're more likely to get a like very weak version, basically like a weak version of whatever illness you're immunizing yourself against. I mean, that's part of the reason why you get so like lethargic after like a COVID vaccine. Wasn't there an Itty People shot behind him though? I mean, apparently the shooter's head went pop and there was like a firefighter. A firefighter died. I'm saying there was a bullet that went by, but I half don't expect that he actually got hit by it. Conspiracy COVID is a lie? No. Not at all. We don't have one for HIV. Because HIV is a little more complicated than just a singular issue. But we have it like, basically we're like narrowing it down based on the various like types, like classes of symptoms of HIV. If I remember correctly. Yeah, still under development. mRNA vaccines for targeting HIV triggers strong immune response. And they did produce. There's a lot. There's a lot of articles on this. Holy shit. But yeah, that's probably another conspiracy is Big Pharma purposely wants you to be ill. Constantly wants you to be ill. They're not there to cure, they're just there to treat. The nicking yourself shaving? A shard of prompter that was hit, not the bullets. Oh, like those little glass prompter things. COVID was because of food or something? Like processed food or something? I have not heard this. Was 30 minutes away from where the CEO got shot. I'm almost certain Luigi didn't do it. Luigi didn't do it. He was hanging out with me. We were fishing in Central Park. Saw this weird guy run by though and left a backpack behind. That was strange. I have a bitch immune system. Can't work when I once, but even worse, vaccines that came to COVID in Brazil mostly were fake. The politicians even had a discussion about that. Can't say much because I already forgot. What do you mean the vaccines that came to Brazil were fake? Think about the jobs we'd lose if the world was better. Ugh. It's always so fucking goofy. It's so fucking goofy to hear fucking people say shit like that. And it's like, if the world was better, we wouldn't have fucking capitalism. I crave violence funnier the first time. Funnier the first way? What? What are you on about? What are you on about? That's what Luigi wants you to think? What are you insinuating, Plague? Are you insinuating that Luigi did it? I disagree. I don't think Luigi did it. I think Luigi's a scapegoat. I'm 99% sure Luigi's a scapegoat. There's probably other ones, but now I've lost my train of thought and I can't remember what some of the other ones I was thinking of were. It was with me beating a guy. We do need more Luigis. Thank God for Luigis. Putting myself on a flight list here. Putting myself on a list here. Oh boy. Luigi the Mangione. Oh my God. Worst possible scapegoat. Pick the most photogenic man. True. True. Just revolt already? I kind of wish. I don't even kinda. I really do wish. I do wish It's time, comrades. It's time. But where was Mario in all of this? That's not the same thing, Ordain. Was one of the first to get the vaccines. From what I remember, we got supposed COVID vaccines, but from what our publisher said, the vaccines were not. Need a yacht to get to Norway? Yeah, if I get put on a no-fly list, Jesus. Jesus. Just another case of US government putting all the blame on the first guy that we see who isn't pale as a ghost. Yep. Clearly, Waluigi. Yes, Wang. You can't have Luigi without Mario? Hello, Mario. He's Italian. Are we bringing back old American Italian racism? Is that what this is? Is that what we're seeing? When does the Irish racism come back too? Mercury is a preservative for vaccines because it's effective and it dissolves in the body. You know the human body has mercury in it, right? It's a naturally occurring compound. Well, not even compound, elements, natural occurring elements. Formaldehyde is also in the human body. COVID vaccine secretly has GPS trackers in it. You're insane. You're insane. Has the whole planet in it? It's not the fucking planets. Oh my god. What? Wait, wasn't there an old like Chinese Transformers knockoff movie called like Space Transformers? And wasn't there supposed to be like some genius girl? I wonder if anybody's seen this movie because it's terrible. It's so fucking terrible. So like there's a genius girl. She's like the smartest girl in the world and she gets sick. And so they take a bunch of Transformers and like the main kid, they shrink them down and inject them into the girl's body. But inside of her body, it's not fucking like organs and veins like you would expect from like the Magic School Bus episode or something. It's like a fucking solar system. There's planets and shit. It's an asylum movie. I remember this being like, this is like a Chinese knockoff movie. Space Transformers. Oh, good lord. 1985. My buddy, one of my best friends in high school, had this on DVD. And it makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Technically, oxygen's poison. Still gotta inhale it to live. I mean, a certain percentage is poison. Knockoff Inner Space. It's more like a knockoff classic Transformers. Hi, Hectic. How are you doing? I'm awful. Mostly awful. Surviving. So, wait. You'd never believe this, so you would, right? You burn it and there's charcoal. Charcoal's made of carbon. So what else has a lot of carbon? The human body. Okay, go on. Chemistry's complicated. You could technically call a human fire elementals because we basically combust / oxygenate to survive. Yeah. So I'm chilling in a park. Ooh, what kind of park? Sitting on a bench. You got something good to eat? Did you get a sausage, egg and cheese on a roll? Somebody... She's dancing like a stripper. Ganon. Allow Malvin in chat. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Nope. Nope, my day is trum. But I will survive, which is why we changed to playing Crime Scene Cleaner in a little bit. Oxygen is toxic. It is the oxidizer. It turns the iron in your blood into iron oxide. That's why antioxidants are essential for the not dying. Daedric, what do you want about? Turkish pastry thing. You don't have to tell me the exact park. I was just asking for like a type of park. Is it like a pond park? Is it like a playground park? Is it just like a walking park? Oh, goodness. Okay, that hiccup hurt. Grande sausage burrito for brekkie. Ooh. I had to get gas this morning. So even then I'm thinking about like my daily budget and shit for food. What is it, Ganon? What is it? Why are we slamming the table? It's a park? Oh, gotcha. Yes, park. Might lay down on grass? Yes. Except I have one other thing. What's that one thing that's been making the rounds? Touching grass isn't enough. I need terrible things to happen to powerful people. I need that shit to happen. I need terrible things to happen to powerful people. Walking park, big fountain in the middle. Just called out which one since it shows up on TV a fair bit. Ah, gotcha. Yes, eat the billionaires. All of them. Every single one of them. All billionaires are bastards. All billionaires are bastards. David Dastmalchian is playing M. Bison in the new Street Fighter movie. Ooh. Didn't really have to expect M. Bison to show up in that movie. Just wants chaos? I don't want chaos. I want a better world. I want a better world that isn't just fucking attempted to be taken over, even specifically Taylor Swift. Yes, fucking Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is not a good person, chat. Taylor Swift fucking made her billions off of exploiting young girls in parasocial relationships. She specifically harvests an atmosphere where every one of her fans thinks that they are just one meeting away from becoming Taylor Swift's actual friend. That's almost as parasocial as it comes. Hold on a second. A lot of y'all just spoke as I was saying that, so I need to catch up. All I ask is to be given a couple $1 billion to prove you wrong? Prove me wrong how? All billionaires are bastards? You get given $1 billion, you're instantly a bastard. With evil characteristics? Chaotic good? Yes. Reso print that says, save the planet, eat a billionaire. If you enter the PvP zone, I'm eating Ordain. All right, Ganon and Ordain are fighting, chat. Go get them, champs. Millen Park, da-da-da-da. Just a planter, but the city named it a park because of city ordinance. Billionaire brisket with some mixed vegetables and potatoes. Now we're making po' boys. We're frying that shit, baby. About bad breakups, you're probably the problem. She's definitely the problem. That's called business? The fuck it is. No, the fuck it's not. When your target audience is children and you've basically tried to pseudo foster a relationship where they see you as like their best friend on purpose. That's parasocial as shit and exploitative to children. My parents will be divorced in the past before my birth. She needs her private jet just to get out of bed. She needs her private jet to go to Starbucks. I don't want to cover billionaires in mayo. We're not going to use mayo. We're making ramelade. What do you take me for? What do you take me for? I want 999 million euros and not more. You know you could live a very happy and very comfortable life with like 3 million. 3 million pounds, 3 million euros, even 3 million USD. That's already enough fuck you money for life. I wouldn't be a billionaire for long, throwing money at every cause I can support. True. But even then, the only person that has saved is Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton's the only one that gets forgiveness because she has never once been a billionaire, because she gives away so much of her income to charity. She would be a billionaire if she still had all of the money that she'd given away to charitable causes. But at no point did she ever cross the billionaire mark because of how often and frequent she gives her money away. Needs to be a park space every so many miles. So you can get from Forest Park, which is 10,000 square feet, all the way to Mills End, which is literally a planter in the center divide of a major road. I don't want to be rich. I just want to be the level of fuck you. Yeah, I need, what is it? Was it John Goodman who'd had a thing where it's like, fuck you money? Also, Shadow the Cat, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. I'm sorry I missed you earlier. That was 8 minutes ago. I don't want to be rich. I want to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable. And comfortable to me is not like some annoying as shit mansion, a yacht, and like the nicest sports car. Fuck, I would love to just have like a classic Honda or something, or a classic Toyota. And like maybe if I lived alone, like a 2-bedroom so that I could turn one of the bedrooms into an office. Dolly Parton land? Are you talking about Dollywood? Are you talking about Dollywood? What do you mean she's building Dolly Parton land? Dollywood's existed for a long time. I was gonna say Dollywood. How old is Dollywood? Dollywood built when? 86. It was built in 86. I know because I've been to the town that it's in. It's outside Pigeon Forge. Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, baby. Good shit. Good town. Very good town. Y'all never been to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee? You should go. It's like Vegas, except it's more entertainment stuff than it is like casinos. Yes, you meant Dollywood? Okay, that's what I figured. But building an amusement park is not... It's very rarely a guarantee for massive profits. You'd have to do a lot to guarantee massive profits in the case of like exploiting your employees. Thanks, Universal. Newer than I thought, actually. I mean, that would mean Dolly Parton was... Hold on. She is 79 years old. Born in 46. She was 40 years old at the time. No. Yes? No. Is it 86? Yeah, she'd be 40 years old. 86. Okay, yeah. Amusement parks lose money more often than they make, except Action Park, New Jersey. They made lawyers a lot of money. True, they did make lawyers a lot of money. Billionaire heaven, but we force them to watch it as we burn their money. Would be pretty... Oh, well, I was gonna say, the way I see it is eat the billionaires and then put all their money into the government funds. Granted, at the same time we nom down on all the billionaires, we'll also nom down on all the politicians. Oh, I don't have the sound. Hold on. I know what we need. Where is it? Come on. YouTube, what the fuck are you doing? Ah, yes. Excellent. Listen, the things you gotta do, okay? It's for the working class. It's always for the working class. Either that or we could break out La Internationale. Good song. Anyway. Hi, Willow. How are you doing? Anybody reaches a billion would force them to 10 years of mental reconditioning to feel empathy. Hold on. I need that gif of the, we will brainwash you. Let me see if I can find it. I need the, you'll be brainwashed. Here it is. Oh, I'm still signed in as editor. Hold your horses. All right. Hold on, chat. Screen time. Full screen. Up. Where is it? There it is. All right. Real quick. Meme time. Was always in the door alt confirmed. What the fuck do you mean? That's insulting. We have literally been in the same place at the same time before. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I really like this meme. Oof. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Anyway. All right, music. Oh, this may be loud for a second. Hold on. There we go. There we go. All right. What do you mean? Alt confirmed my ass. We don't sound anything alike. Well, I don't think we sound anything alike. I don't know what I sound like to everybody else, because I'm pretty sure y'all are all full of shit when you tell me I sound great. John Candy, what a treasure. Hell yeah, John Candy. Hell yeah, John Candy. This episode confirms that Red Sun in the Sky is still a banger. Always has been. I sound awesome. I don't know about that. That makes sense. Okay. Sounds awesome. You sound human? Human? What does that mean? As opposed to just cow noises? Is that what this is? Is that what this is? Is it just cow noises? How many streamers sound like not human? Besides Vidal. I don't like Vidal. I don't care for AI VTuber popularity bullshit. Okay. Not the Seabat dance. Not the Seabat dance. Oh my god. Ego-esque or high-pitched voice, it's nice. I don't like nasally high-pitched voices. It drives me insane. There's so many VTubers I don't or can't watch because of that voice. Oh my god, Frankie. I don't even know what fucking Frankie's like accent is. Does anybody know? I've listened to some of Frankie's stuff, but I have no idea what her accent is. Ruthie just said AI ain't becoming streamer, can't become streamers. Maybe Connor wants to stream. What's wrong with that? Connor. Oh, that Connor. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, Neurosama. Yeah, the Neurosama VTuber. I don't give a shit about. I will never understand why so many big VTubers just started jumping on the wagon and just like inviting that AI onto their stream. It's stupid. Is it a good show of skill? Sure. Sure, it's a good show. It's a decent show of skill. But stupid. Anyway, I don't want no clinkers here. Ain't no clinkers allowed in my house. Hope your day's well. Nope. How are you doing, Mr. Teach? They got traction on YouTube Shorts. That's about it. No, they've literally gone all the way up the fucking pillars of VTubing, aside from like being on HoloLive. I'm pretty sure Vidal still regularly does stuff with like the XVShojo girls now. That's penis. I will never understand when I look at trending things and I end up just getting full dick. There's just full dick on screen. Okay. What have you... What have we told you, Marin? Listen, I'm not showing it to you. What do you mean? Why are you yelling at me? I haven't done anything. I was looking at NATO, why NATO was trending. It's fine, lizard. 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 We love being flashed by phalluses. True, but I don't have the thing open right now. It's not open, Ordain. It's fine. It's totally fine. Whack is beeping. Oh, goodness. Ugh. I've had hiccups like all morning. When I got home from the gym, I was hiccuping like crazy. And then it stopped when I was in the shower, and now it's been back. Whose meat is that? I ain't looking. I don't know whose meat it was. I don't care whose meat it was. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see anybody's meat because, frankly, every single dude's meat out there is pathetic and gross. Keep it away from me. Disgusting. Ain't nobody want to see that shit. Hi, 6-star goon. Definitely a curse set upon humanity by the witches of old. Okay, and how do you come to that conclusion? How do we come to that conclusion? Where did you learn that? And bailiff whack his pee-pee. Gong. Not helping the homosexual claims. Hey, not liking Schmeat, not liking mincemeat and not liking Schmeat is two different things. Also, I won't be using Twitter that much anymore. They want to see my ID card. Well, fuck them. They aren't the cops. They don't get to see jack shit. Completely agreed. Completely agreed. Have you met my friend Biggest Dickus? Do you think it's perfectly reasonable to be named Biggest Dickus? Chat. Are any of y'all named Biggest Dickus? Be honest. Be honest. I'll find out. Well, what do you say about yourselves? I don't deserve that name. Also, speaking of NATO, it's funny to see Trump turns into a moody teenager when in the same room with other world leaders. Yeah, because he's fucking pathetic and has small PP energy. Everybody else is more educated, more successful, and more easier to empathize with than he is. That man is basically like a fucking statue in a room because he's in a room that he fumbled his way into. That's not even a joke. Trump. The like overgrown teen thing. Has it already been an hour? Jesus, I thought we were going to start playing the game early. Damn. I didn't realize we were already up 5 minutes from the next commercial break. Let me also get the... whatever we're going to do today. I think we're just going to do Gartic Phone again. Since we have just over 5 minutes. But yes, that's the moment of a man realizing he's yet again in a room where everybody knows he's a fucking phony. Oh, is Gartic Phone not working today? That didn't load right. What the fuck? Are you going to load? Okay. I got like a page for code for a second, so I got like really concerned. But yeah. That's the case with Trump. Whenever he goes to a summit of a world leader, he is essentially a toddler in a room with a bunch of grown adults. Hiccups are a curse. The curse cast on us with the Salem witch trials is revenge. Really? Sometimes I wonder if I should stand closer with this model for the big chatting screens. Because I feel like this is quite far away. And I kind of want y'all to like be able to like see some more of the details. Is broken because you ate all the garlic? No, my garlic! So close. Hi. Hi. How can I help you today? Bigger. Good? Closer for warmth? Obviously, no other reason. Why don't I believe you? Cast counterspell. Drops full IKEA countertop on my enemies. That is not a counterspell. The SNL skit of G6 laughing at Trump. I have not seen that, but I wouldn't doubt it. Listen, whenever you're in a room and you feel like an imposter, or worse, like Trump probably knows he's an imposter, knows he's a terrible, heinous human being, and everybody else knows it because his dirty laundry has been in the open air for decades. He's like what he wants. Squirm, maggots. Listen, if I was fucking like Angela Merkel or something and I was in the same room as Trump, I would make that man feel like a disgusting worm. And I don't mean in like the kinky BDSM kind of way. I mean with like nasty side eyes, dirty glares. Anytime he says something stupid, I'm going to make it as obvious as possible on my face that it was definitely fucking stupid. Hey, cool story, bro. Where are the files? Where are the Epstein files? Cool story, bro. Oh, damn, that's crazy. Where are the Epstein files? So when he gets most of the time when he's in a room with world leaders? Yes, because he deserves it. Because he deserves it. All right, chat. We got 2 minutes until the ad break. Cut the crap and just beat the ever-living shit out of him. Listen, good policy. Good policy. The sad thing is, though, is you can't beat up world leaders because then it's a diplomatic situation. If you just have, even if you have, like, if your citizens, like, decide that they're going to, like, quarter a motorcade and then just, like, pull the president out of the car and beat his ass on the street, that becomes, even if they're citizens, that becomes a diplomatic situation, which is annoying. It's very annoying, but that tends to be the case of why, like, when world leaders or like country leaders visit other countries and they're just heinous human beings, populations don't just fucking storm them. It's also why when visiting dignitaries often get bodyguards native to the country. All the files, once people started asking, ads in claiming me will enjoy your season pass, teach. More and more like the Fire Nation. I don't like that at all for us. We've been the Fire Nation. Goon, the US has been the Fire Nation. We've never been good. We've just been good at covering up our bad shit. Hit them with a rant from Billy Madison? Ooh. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen Billy Madison. If I've seen it, that's that Adam Sandler film, isn't it? I've only seen bits and pieces of that because I don't give a shit about Adam Sandler movies. Correction, you can't get away with it. French? Oh yeah, it always comes around. It always comes around. Well, the French was fucking beheading their own. So why not do it all? Ugh. Yeah, apparently, yeah, politicians tend to really do think that the citizenry is a bunch of idiots, imbeciles, morons, if you will. All right, hold on. We need to go to screen time because the ad break's about to start. Gardic phone time. And then after this, we'll jump right into Crime Scene Cleaner. And we can keep yapping through it. Tennis court. Tennis field. Tennis. Badminton. I forget how to spell badminton. Orange. Toothbrush. Toothbrush. No. Razor. Straight razor. Razor? Is that a dock? Cave. Am I the only one playing here? Why am I doing this? Why am I the only one playing? Bisexual razor? What do you mean bisexual razor? Tooth? Okay, what's just tooth? Oh, is it tennis player? Yes, it is. Boat dock. Daybed. Therapy couch. Lion? Pet lion. Sectional? That's not a sectional. Campfire. Darn it. Oh, barely. We barely won that one. Okay, we still got a minute and a half. So, counterspell, omnisexual razor. Again, I don't think that's a what do you call it? An actual counterspell. I'm pretty sure that's not a counterspell. Oh, it could have been Lion Tamer. You're right. You're right. So hold on a second. All right. Hold on. I'm checking Discord really quick while we're waiting on this. Okay. Doesn't seem like there's anything crazy going on. Okay. Ooh. Postmodern Jukebox did a cover of House of the Rising Sun. Ooh. I'm gonna listen to that later. Oh, show. Oh, show. Okay. We good? Okay, ad break's over. We're just gonna wait on finishing this round. Kebab. Kebab shop. Rose. Tulip. I don't think that doesn't look like a tulip. Fingernail. No. I don't understand what some of these are supposed to be. Shirt. Now, how did I misspell shirt so bad? Third. I like third. Oh my goodness. Why am I like this? Typing too fast. That's fine. That's fine. All right. Let's put that away. And yeah, actually, we'll put the screen away. And then let me go ahead and get the game open. Chat, do we want to leave the music on or do we want to turn the music off? They need better artists. How are they supposed to? Oh wow, that was fast. That was fast. That was really fast. All right. Over to the gaming screen, kids. Now, the reason I changed it to this game was because I wanted something that was far more chill. Where is it? There it is. Okay, I was like, where is the game? Game. All right. One more round? One more rounds? No, we'll do it in the next commercial break. You'll have plenty more rounds. They need better artists. How are we supposed to guess most of theirs? I feel like they're actually taking them from the other Gartic phone. Ones that are just like really good. Can't say game without gay. Gamers. All right, sorry, just need to drink water. All right, so we want to do continue. Now, what I wanted to do on this was unlock all skills in water tree, unlock all skills in cleaning tree. Hell yeah, achievements, baby. Okay, no, hold on. We're going back. So, this door is fucking open. They added a new mode. Wait a second. Okay, this is Amaranth song. I was like, I've heard this song somewhere. Okay. So, there's supposed to be a way to select no objectives present. Okay, I think it's... The thing is, we have to figure out how to activate Nightmare Mode. We've done all of the base missions, which means we should have it. So, challengers now available. Select missions for more information. Okay, so we can kind of just do whichever one we want. So I think what we're going to do is we'll do it in order. So click this. Nightmare. A pipe. Oh. 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 Wait. There's skins. Gloves. Wait, where's the... Wait, you get a skin for the truck? Crazy. Now there's one I saw in the promo pictures that's like a trash can replacement. The thing is... Where is it? It looks like a black hole is what I remember. Oh, of course it's Nightmare Mode at the Modern Art Museum. All right. All right. Yeah, we'll do it in order. We'll go in order. Nightmare, 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 nightmare. Ask me how my Umamusume training luck is. How's it going? Are you doing well? Do you have some A ranks? Cleaning services somehow? Apparently. Apparently.
Clean up a serial killer's apartment, then to scrub away the memories of what he did. I can make bodies disappear, but all these dead people are still stuck in my...
Oh, wait. Does the story keep advancing? Oh. Gets them. I can't hit a 1%, but I can hit a 47%. Make it make sense. Oh, hey, buddy. Shady neighborhood. Are we in the... What is... Come here. Oh!
Has been detected somewhere inside. Looks might be involved. Now we'll scope out the place.
Okay. Okay. I don't like that. I mean, I failed a 3% chance to fail the other day. Yeah. All right, let's grab this guy while we're here. Good Lord. Come here, bud. Yeah. Okay. Now, I have several questions. Because good Lord, oh, that is not at all what I wanted. Mop. Does mop work here? Okay, it does. Fuck you, chair. Oh, god damn it. I lied. It apparently does not work that great here. Oh, I keep hitting fucking tab. Because I forgot how this game works. Oh, okay, we do have water right here. Okay, then. Hup. 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 Damn it. You. Oh, I can't pick you up. You, come here. Okay. don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna one up the failing 1% that immediately failing 3% back to back. No. Yeah, I failed the 3% training thing once, and I was so upset. I was so upset. But he-hoo, cleaning. He-hoo, cleaning. All right, can you go back, or is that just where you... Oh, son of a fucking bitch. Okay. Where is my... That's not it. Also... Oh, that's the light. Okay. You. Go there. Gimme. How high do you reach? Pretty fucking high. Not high enough. Does it say duck? Ew. Wait, where? Oh, there it is. Hello? Cool. So there's like a whole new areas in here too. Okay. Who spilled their Kool-Aid? I don't think this is Kool-Aid. Oh, you're kidding me. Go. Okay, then. Actually, hold on. Tab. Lights. UV lights. Right there for me. Turn on. Fantastic. All right. Now... I don't think we actually get money for nightmare mode. I think we get money for like true cleaner mode. But apparently there's like, it seems like there's a lot more to nightmare mode. Now is flawless. He's so good at it. He's so good at it. I mean, we've already beat the game once in the case of like its normal modes, where he just kind of runs away. Oh, it does. That's just where the light ends. Okay. Okay, that's the trash bag that I dropped there. Tastes a little like copper? What do you mean it tastes like copper? Are we eating the police already? That's not supposed to be till November. Good Lord. Hi, cool. How are you doing? We're cleaning up heinous crimes. Yeah, we're gonna go with heinous crimes. Thing too was, I think this said this mission only has 3 bodies and we've already gotten 2 of... Oh no, there's 13 bodies. Oh. Oh no. All right, hold on. I see you. Come here. You, come here. Hey, buddy. Come on down. Oh, God. Did not see him up there at first. Oh, go down. Smack. Okay. Now come here. Feemsh. Why are we feemshing? Let me up. 13. 13?
Nice not knowing you.
All right. Oh. Oh, fuck. Okay. What is this?
Closed.
Locked.
Go another way.
Power snake. We're not going to be able to finish this with what I currently have. We can try. We can certainly try. gonna go through the sponges. Through the sponges! I don't know what band this is. Let me check it in just a second. Brothers of Metal. Okay. Yeah, this isn't one of the songs that I have like saved to the playlist. But I know Brothers of Metal songs come on semi-frequently. You clean? Seemingly. Seemingly clean. We also got to get that other billboard. Hey, imprint. I like how, like, the upgrades that we put on these is really good. Like, our sponges feel like they sometimes do more work than our mops do. Okay. You are done. You can come with me. You can also come with me. Go in there. Alright. Buckets. Oh, we already have a bucket here. You. Wait, what the hell? Are they different now? It looks like they changed the icons for these things. Or do I have like mixed ones now? Is that what this is? Okay, hold on. I don't want to bring my bucket in here and spill it. So you're going there. Clean you. Clean you. Clean you. Oh, I did this backwards. Where's the other sponge? There's the other sponge. I should have cleaned them first and then done like all of the dipping. Okay, where's my, that's not it. What is the, there it is. All right, where's the corpse? Okay then. No corpse, eh? Oh, wait. Move you. Is that clean? That was like instant. Okay. Okay. Sunstar, are you still famishing? If I look at this and there's a goddamn sacrifice on the wall, I'm going to lose my mind. White fertilizer helps? Okay. Okay then, I suppose.
No play.
Oh, of course. Oh! Hi! I forgot I saw that through the fucking window. Okay. Garden's done. Wait, I see you. I see you. Get clean, get clean, get clean, get clean. Okay. Bucket. Give bucket. Let's go, bucket. Me and you. Okay, I don't know why you did that. There was nothing there. Kilda has arrived. Kilda. Kilda. Looks like we're playing Monster Hunter next week with Kilda, by the way, chat. Oh, already fucking dirty. All right. Guess who passed 54%? What do you mean who passed 50? Are you still trying to train them on that level? That's insanity, dude. You are not an openable door. Hello? Hello? Okay. I'm sure this is fine. Sure, there's nothing to worry about. Jesus. Why are you like this? I left my bucket outside.
Bad blood is clogging the pipes, boss.
Bad blood?
Nothing. It's time to get out of here.
Oh, there's a body over there. You know what? Hold on. I need... Not you. You are not what I need. You. Damn it. Turn back on. Oh god, they're both filthy. Okay, we'll just do this. Yes, what can I do for you, Mr. Hardtack? Alright, let's go. You're gonna go here. I am going to take you, buddy. We're gonna take this guy to the truck, and then we will... theoretically... well, be able to clean all our stuff in the bucket since it's right there. And then we can come back. It's a party now? Oh no. Oh no. All right, let's get this thing swapped out, and then we'll bring it in with us. Get the water swapped out. Hi, Ginger. How are you doing? All right. No, fuck! That was the wrong fucking button. Wait. So... oh. Okay, we'll use this. This one. And then this one. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, motherfucker! I hit one. I hit one while I was carrying it. God damn it. This is why sometimes having an MMO mouse fucking sucks. Fucking sucks. It was the cleaner cocktail. That I need... where's the... there it is. Okay, I'm taking my fingers away from all the buttons on the side of my mouse. Basically what I was trying to do is I was trying to turn my mouse and I fucking clicked it. Excuse me, pardon me. Yoink. Okay. Real quick, let's clean up the rest of some of this stuff. I actually do want to check the lockers back here. Can I? Hey, yo. Hello. Darn, okay. I guess there's not nearly as many secret stuff in Nightmare mode. I'm guessing. I can only guess. I think there's gonna be other stuff back here. Can I? Doesn't seem to be the case. God damn it. Oh, it's 4. Okay. 4 is the one that I need to hit. Oh my god, I thought I dropped you. There we go. There we go. It's very weird too. When I bump it against something, it turns off. Figured it'd be sturdier than that. Okay. And then I can open this door. Fantastic. All right, let's go. So we've done everything down here, which means now we have to go upstairs. We have to go look at the apartment. I don't think this is going to go well. All right, hold on. We're going to put you here. Yeah, this was the hidden part. Fuck! All right, hold on. Where's my axe? Oh, wait, no, we have the katana. That's right. Mash, 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 mash. Okay. Oh, hey. What the fuck?
There's nothing here. Maybe it really was just a false alarm.
Okay. Well, this just says wipe away the blood. So... Fuck you, statue. How you doing there, bud? Hanging out? Having a nice nappy poo? It's okay. I'll go throw you down. I'll go throw you downstairs. All right, let's go, champ. All right, and then can I just... What? Ah, fantastic. Okay. Katana.
Underestimate Dad's strength.
Okay then. But... Oh, good lord. Do you think my guy's sneaky enough to be able to get on this ledge? Oh. Trying to jump to the ledge. Oh, I can't. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't bread over every egg.
Who did it? Bazant! How could you? How could you, Bazant? What did I do to deserve it? You wanted to get my attention, didn't you? Monster King, thank you for the raid. Holy shit, welcome in. How was your stream? Did you have a good time? Who's finger painting the outside walls? That's a good question. Like a really good question. Considering we've seen Hello and like a couple other things.
Junk still operational?
Wait. Is this? Why did the... okay. Here, we'll just do a little bit of cleanup while we can. Oh, it's full. That's fine. That's fine. I forgot that this dealer's apartment like curves around almost the entire building. Oh, that fan scared me. I didn't like that. I don't like that. Hey, buddy. Okay, then. Gimme. Here, let's do this. Get out my bag. Are you there?
One of ours. Something wicked is clearly at play here.
Something wicked? Wicked? Okay. Okay, so we're missing oh, it's right here. Yeah. Okay, then. Where did I leave my bucket? I just forgot where I left my bucket. I left it all the way downstairs, didn't I? It's fine. All right, let's go, champ.
No matter what he looks like, it's the same guy.
Same guy? Are we remembering it? Anyway, Kobe. Wait, did I nail him in there? Did he land in the truck? I think he landed in the truck. So good at this game. So good at this game. Oh, shit. Whiffed it. Right, over here. There we go. There we go. Get out of here, cat paws. What do you mean, clip it? There wasn't anything there to clip. Oh, shit. All right, we need the katana. Not there. Yeah. 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 All right. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, my.
It's like I'm sneaking into somebody's dream.
Okay, then. Wait, this still says dealer's apartment? But I'm under the dealer's apartment. Aren't I? What do I... Wait, it didn't work? Who's the crime scene we're cleaning today? It's the dealer guy. It's the first one. Yeah, I guess I abandoned the bucket. You'll know about a good hook. Thanks, Sturgill. All right. Oh, good lord. Come here. Okay, they're all dirty. And now you're dirty. Is the candle going out because I'm cleaning near it? Is that what that is? Okay, hold on. We need the light. Light. Show says me. Let there be lights. Failed an 8%. All right. Listen, I struggle with the last finale race on occasion too. Even if I'm doing really well, all of a sudden my horse is just fucking shit. It's fine. It's fine. Come on. Also, are these all A's? I just realized these are all A's. I don't like that. Here, really quick. You, come here. use this just because it has some water. Q candles. Oh god, this thing is not that great at cleaning up carpets. There it is. All right, it's out. Go away. Back to scrubbing by hands. Is that his own picture? Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, I saw that glass was dirty. Well, that seems like everything. Yes. Oh, shit. All right. Abby. Oh no, it's in the hallway. That's right. Hup. Shit. Again, down. That's right. We brought it in here. Oh shit, we didn't get that. Come on. Oh, don't back up. Don't back up. No, god damn it. Why won't you get clean? Why won't you get clean? What the fuck? You've got to be shitting me. All right, hold on. You. Also, I forget. Can I put things in you? Oh, no, I can't. Going up, going up, going up. Oh, god damn it. Ugh. Let me up! Ladders are apparently hard. Okay, there we go. Okay. Go back up. Damn, that's actually a good fucking stat rollout. Jesus. Okay. Okay, I think we're good here. I think we can go up to the front door. Maybe, but let's go ahead and clean our shit. We're gonna go ahead and clean our shit. All right, let's go. Of course. Of course. Also, what's this eviction notice? Okay, it's the same one from the first time we did this map. And then I need you. Right there. Right there. Stay right there and don't turn off, damn it. I still, to this day, do not know what the colors of the, like, blood splatters mean. Oh, right. Okay. Secret spot. Ooh. What are y'all smoking?
I got orders, so listen up. If we fail to find the guy from above wants this whole place demolished.
No surprise
Oh.
here.
Oh.
Gotta be rotten these walls.
Had rainbow blood? Oh, good lord.
Let's hope we can salvage something out of it.
It really does feel like, The sponges are almost better than my mop at this point. Gabby. Oh, I didn't throw it. Gabby. Ah. So close, yet so far. Jesus, what happened here? Maybe, just maybe. Oh, right. I need to pick you up too. All right, come here. You two are in the way. Bitch. Wow, I thought this place was gonna be super quick like it was the first time we did it. But they added so many additional areas that either like we just didn't do last time or like completely missed. Okay. Gotta fix the chairs. Gotta fix the chairs. Okay. Now I want to go down there, but I think first I should clean our mops and share the sponge. Oh, hey, missed you earlier. All right, Timber. Okay. We good? All right, real quick. Let's do some cleanup. Yes, Ganon, you're fired. Why is Kono fired? Already? He hasn't even had his first day. Here, come here. Bag. Yoink. Come here. There's these two. God, we still have 4 more. 4 more bodies. Okay, let's go back up. So now, you're coming with me. You're coming with me. I'm hoping. Damn it. I'm here. I was kind of hoping for oh, I don't know what I was hoping for. I lost my train of thought. No, you're fired, Ganon. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. I pulled my legs up into my chair and I think I bumped my desk and the fucking webcam fell off again. Why do you keep falling down recently, webcam? What the fuck? Immediately dirty. Immediately. Oh, goodness. That was a hiccup that turned into like a weird throat groan. Oh, I hate that. Ugh. All right. Cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. You can't quit. You're fired. You can't fire me. I quit. Is it me doing it? I mean, Ganon did lose his sword. He did, in fact, lose his sword. All right, you got to get out of the way, bud. We're just gonna throw you over here. You. Clean you up. You're in the way too.
It won't move like this.
Oh, because the carpet's not clean. Duh. Or not? Is it the
I need to clear the way first.
beer bottles? What's the fucking beer bottles? What the hell? Upset. Upset. Can't fire me? I'm your wife? You can't wife me? I'm a frog? You can't frog me? I quit? What? I am so confused. What? What does that mean? Hi, QB. Yes, yes, I am. I have dual wielding sponges. I am a master cleaner. Get on my level. Get on my level. Okay. All right, buddy, let's go. You're going on a trip. I need... Okay, there's the window. I was gonna say there's a window over here somewhere. Excuse me, pardon me, you're just gonna kill me. Damn it. So close yet so far. Keep your teeth clean. Chat, did you brush your teeth today? Hello, spooky things? Actually, hold on. Did we check? Okay, I guess not. For some reason, I thought there was something else there, but... All right. Over here. Over here. Over here. All right. And then we need this. We need this one. And then this one. All right, come here. Clean. 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 And clean. Okay. Open door says me. Hello? Okay. Didn't realize we'd already done so much in here, so... Let's go. Don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break. What did you do this time? Don't worry about it. Shut up. Don't call the cops. Whatever you do, don't call the cops. Neat. I'm sure that's fine.
Always comes back.
I'm sure that's fine. Excuse me, pardon me. We're just gonna... And go. Ah, fuck. Yeah, we're gonna have to take this up with us. Excuse me, pardon me. Just gonna... Oh! I don't remember there being this many plants up here before. Oh, right. We have to break, like, all of his paintings. Die. Die.
Rotten luck. To end up having to cover up for a serial killer.
Okay, then. Excuse me. Curse you, mop breaking so fast or getting dirty so fast. How are you doing, QB? Are you doing okay today? Why would I call? What? Hi, 2. What are you up to? What is... What? Huh? Oh? Wait, huh? You're a secret of some kind. I know you are. So we picked up a camera, but doesn't seem like we can do anything with it right now. Oh, right. That's what I was going to do. Break. Break. Raggle. Get clean, damn you. All right. come here. You're going there so I don't forget you. I have to break the door down too? Son of a bitch. Oh. Pick up the branches too, really? Yeah, I did not have to do this last time. Okay, come here. Go there. Cut. Ching, shing, shing. Okay. Okay then. Then we'll just clean up the paint. I guess. Because before this we had, it was like a bunch of women? If I remember right? It wasn't the guy like kidnapping women? Also, were all of the non-construction characters, are they all the same guy, the dealer?
Why is it so hard to get rid of him?
Yeah. We're missing something, I think. I'm pretty sure. Here, I'm kicking you down the stairs. Go. Oh, I see. Okay. That's new. See that over there? It looks like we're remaking the... Excuse me while I just... Yeah, Kobe. Okay, let's go back and look at those pictures real quick. Let me just... I'm gonna clean this real quick. This. Everything else is fine. Do this again. And then we will be... All right, we got 5 minutes till the ad break. Put bucket away. Okay. So... Looking at the dumpsters. TV... Somewhere on a carpet. There's one that's supposed to be right in that other room. And that's the one that we saw. So... There it is. Okay. So... We need to go find... This one I think is... Oh, what the hell? Huh? Okay. So let's go find the one that was that TV on a rug. TV, table, rug. Door? 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 Katana. Darn it. Darn it. All right. So there's got to be another one somewhere. TV. Is it this one? Yeah, there it is. Okay. And then there's one that I think we can get to. Is it... It's up here. Here. Woo. And then there was the two dumpsters. I see you. I see you. Okay. Let's clean up these identical dudes for some reason. I feel like we're gonna find our last body tucked somewhere else. Also, where is... Oh, there it is. God damn, I really lobbed this bitch. Okay. Now let's go up. Up. Going all the way up. We'll just go through the window here instead of trying to walk the ledge. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. All right, let's see what happened to these photos. Steven, thank you for the follow-up. Door's open, okay. A drum kit? A nice living room. What, is this basically what the neighborhood could have been? Sapphire story item. Huh. I can't read what that says. Okay, how are we missing a body? How are we missing a body? Well, it's not up here. Chad, we're missing a whole corpse. Here, let me go check. Did we... I see. There's a whole section over here we missed. Hey. Clean, clean, clean. That's why we hadn't finished the, like, courtyard. Hello? I thought I heard sounds coming from the fire escape. It's literally better to use the sponges on pavement than it is to try and use the mops. I hate this. All right, mopey pants.
Just think of the money. Think of the money.
Excuse me, pardon me. Bum, bum. Sponge to a stick? Wait, we already had the commercial break? Did I miss the commercial break? I need to pee. You saw nothing, Corvo? I don't know. Corvo's a bird and tends to be pretty observant. There we go. English. Shut up, police officer. You don't see shit. All right. Fantastic. Yes. Mavady? Oh my god, no. Absolutely not, Marcus. Deception? Damn right. Damn right. I'm so good at this game. Perfect. All the way aboard. All the way across, baby. There's no money, though, so we don't get any skill points. We don't get any skill points. But I do get a metal pipe, apparently. I did get a metal pipe. Okay, then. Oh. I'm a ghost. I see it ordained. I can't stop the cutscene. Okay, no mind. Now we can pause it. All right. Let me get Joel Gardic. And I will be back in a couple minutes. I'm gonna turn the music up too. All right, what'd I miss? Are y'all failing? Failing hard? Oh my goodness. All right, hold on. There we go. Had to lower the volume. All right, we'll get through this and then we can get right back into it. Hold on a second. Okay. Wagon? Chariots? Wagon. Speaker? Subwoofer. Amp? Jesus. Bubbles? Bubbles. Bubble. Bubble. Buell. As I put Buell. All right. All right, we can put you away. And then the music's probably still fine. Okay, now what the hell is happening? Sapphire? Go to car? Kowalski's apartments? Wait, why is it telling me to go to... Oh, it's not anymore. Okay. All right, Trial by Blood. Which this one is... This is the rich person's house. I think. English's ward? Yeah, apparently it's very ward. Very, very ward.
No reason to beat around.
Chat, I'm getting hungry again. You'll have improved my mood to the point where now I have hunger. I hunger, but I don't know what to get.
Mark our territory.
Should I be good and go get like for dinner today? Should I make like a like high protein burrito bowl, or do I cave and go get Taco Bell? No, not Taco Bell. That's not gonna happen. Oh Jesus. Okay, hold on. Cha cha cha. I got another achievement. Nice. Jesus. Relaxation zone. This is not looking very relaxed. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Not exceptionally relaxing. Oh, good Lord. Okay. Clean, clean, clean. Can we get a burrito? Not Chipotle. I would get a burrito, but most places that you go to and get a burrito, as compared to getting a bowl, is they tend to kind of screw you out of like however much you're gonna get. You get a lot more if you get a bowl. Unionize on burritos? I would agree with burritos. I would. And I love burritos, but it's about getting like the most bang for my buck. And annoyingly, that comes from getting bowls at those kinds of places. How are you doing, Hora? How's your Monday? Cling, 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 cling. French food? Is there a high protein, good for you French food that isn't a cigarette and a baguette? Be honest. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. I will find out. The burrito shop in town, Wellington? That's not French. That's English. Is it? Oh, it is behind the door. Get cleaned, get cleaned, get cleaned. Why won't you get cleaned? Okay, there we go. So we're missing a table. Table, and this is the plant that goes on top of it, but... Oh, boy! Was knocking at your door. All right. Oh, immediately dirty. Please and thank you. Oh, there's the table. I wonder if we'll have to go through the lockers again. They're all dirty, Paul. Every single one of them. Howdy doody. It's you. Bully. Bully. Get him. Get him. All right. Also, chat, not chat, sorry, mods. Can I get a shout out for Cubing? QB Cubed? I don't know if QB's still here. QB is the person who makes a lot of our newer emotes. And she is currently raising money to pay her rent this month. I think some bad things happened and she's been working pretty hard the last couple days to try and raise money for rent. So if you need some really good fucking emotes, I have not found a damn thing she can't make. So I highly do recommend checking her out. Cleaning the floor with sponges. Who am I, Cinderella? Nightmare, 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 nightmare. Oof. Oof. I don't like that. I don't like that. Clean the rest of this up. Move you back. Maybe? What do you mean, maybe? What, Sunstar? Do you want, like... Oh. Hey there, bud. You smoking 500 cigarettes? I don't think you'll heard that, but... Is it coming from you, buddy? Never seen you two in the same room? What do you mean? I can't art. I can't art to save my life. 'Tis the shame. 'Tis the shame indeed. Oh my god, they're all dirty. Oh, damn it. Damn it. Okay, bucket. 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 All right. We'll clean all of the items. And then we refill it. And then we fill it with all the other stuff we need. You. And you. And then we can coat everything. And it doesn't dirty anything. Prove it. Kicks bucked? Bucked. Oh, what the hell? Just gone, just poof. I touched it and it went poof. Okay. You say so. All right, let's get this table cleaned up. Let's go, me and you. And then flour. Okay. Is this bathroom totally cleaned? I think it is. Oh wait, no. No, duh. One thing I found out from watching Kevin the other day, that I'll show you in a second with this botting, is that when it comes to like the cart, when you have the cart, sir, what are you wearing? Did I interrupt like a cult meeting? Is that what this is? Sir, I don't think it's part of a ritual sacrifice to die on the toilet. But apparently you can just... Yeah, you can just throw them on the tarp. And that's enough. I see you. My legs are numb. Whales don't fly anymore? What do you mean whales don't fly anymore? Did they used to fly? Mess will always be somewhere. Fuck. Everything's always messy. All right, let's go. You can wait here. One of these fucks is already dirty. No idea where this chair goes, but we'll figure it out. Duck. Do not observe duck. Is it Steam? Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. That doesn't bode well. Okay, what is gonna be in... Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, okay, that's just steam coming in from the... Just generally the entire room. Hi, buddy. Okay. Alright, let's go, champ. That's a lot of taps there, dude. Go get him. Was that flickering the game? Laura, what is this mess? It's fine. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Okay. Don't overthink it. I'm cleaning everything up. It's fine. It's fine. Fine. You don't see anything. Don't tell the boss. Whatever you do, don't tell the boss. So good at cleaning up. So good at cleaning up. Collect evidence. Entrance and changing rooms. I'm pretty sure they're always like floating dream catchers. Why are you different color? Good lord, the lighting. I don't like the lighting. Hello? Hello? Alright, so we'll figure that out in a minute. I think it's going to be in one of the other... what do you call it? One of the other lockers we haven't opened, I'm imagining. Kind of, sort of, mayhaps, hopefully. Because I want that perfect score, please and thank you. Oh, fucking damn it. Come here. All right. Clean the pillars. Clean. Oh, damn it. Listen, it does such a good job at getting such large chunks of the floor, but they get dirty so fucking fast. All right, hold on. Trash, 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 trash.
My janitor training comes in handy once again.
Okay. All the trash in this fucking sty. That door wasn't there before. Okay. Let's do a little bit of cleanup. Go there. Hello? Y'all heard that, right? No, the music maybe. I think the music's louder than the game. Do I need to, I think I need to turn off the music for a minute. Hold on. Let's just listen to the game for a minute. Because I swear I just heard, like, whistling? I hear, like, squeaking. Is it because there's, like, plants and stuff? Is it, oh my god, the ceiling! Fuck. Alright, we're gonna clean this until immediately dirty. Okay. Clean. 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 Dirty. Alright, well that refills. You. Boink. Just turns into a little bag. Okay then. You, come here. And then we need you. You. I don't like those sounds! Alright. Completely dirty. Like 3 swipes. Insane. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna clean the area first before I... Just that much blood, I guess. We're Dan over here making a mess. There's the secret door that I can actually open without the key. Okay, that's good to know. Okay then. Those back. Clean all this. Oh, hey. M005. Alright, so is that men's? This is women's. 005. Huh? Ice pick. Don't mind if I do. Oh, that was the evidence. Okay. I suppose. And then we need katana. Yeah. Fuck off. All the twigs. All the twigs. Alright, horrors? Horrors beyond my comprehension? Horror playing Abyssus? And already dirty. Oh, that's us. It says it's us, at least. It says it's us whistling. Oh, we're already basically completely dirty.
When the moon is full, our
Dark chair. Fairbanks, how are you doing, bud?
down to the bone.
Maybe? There's no corpse in here this time, though. So, oh goodness, here, we need to clean. All of the things, and then finish getting here. All of this. See, this is really hard to do when we didn't have, like, any of the upgrades. Thing going on the back over here. I know there's stuff on the wall. I just want to make sure this was done. Hi, another key. W024. Trying. I'm cleaning the hands. I'm cleaning the hands. I'm missing fingers. Okay. Really? Alright. Women's room was over here. 24. Yeah. Oh, that's 42. Skull? Oh, I can't pick it up. Okay, then. I'm sure that's totally fine. And of no concern whatsoever. Oh, yeah. Obediently, completely dirty. All right, table, you go over here. I know where you go. All right. All right, let's do as much of this as we can. Immediately completely dirty. Fuck you, chair. It's stone. Also, I see you here. M14. Okay. M14. 5, 4, 14. Hello. Oh, man. Get out. Oh, whoops. Didn't do it long enough to let the animation go off. They just had stray trash in the locker that made it so that I had to get it. That's stupid. Stupid. Alright, I know we'll have to clean stuff out of here. Hey, buddy. Stick.
Right into the bucket.
Okay. Take that. Alright, buddy, let's go. I think I'm gonna break out the power washer for this room. Okay. Alright, let's try to do as much of the stairs with the sponges as we can. Oh, I missed a stick. Or Ordained left a stick. Tungsten ball sack? No tungsten ball sacks in chat. How dare you? How could you? How could you, chat? Letting Ordained get away with casting tungsten ball sack? Salty little... Are y'all fighting with each other? Are you children? Back to Cinderella mode, cleaning the floor with sponges again. Okay, yeah, pretty much everything is dirty. So, you know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna get all the trash. All the trash that I can. Yabby. Darn it. Okay. Gabby. Alright, you're coming with me, buddy. Wait. I wonder what that thing is. Hup. Excuse me, pardon me. Okay. And then we need to get you cleaned up. Nazi antagonizing Ordain? Listen, y'all been going at it. Chat starts a Thunderdome in the playground. This is kind of what it seems like. Is that what y'all are doing? You're all starting a Thunderdome? Is that what this is? Okay. You. And then you. Let's go. Put you there. Get all these coded. Let's do a little bit more of this, I think. You're dirty! Come here. Oh. Keen. Wait, when was there glass there? M17. Okay. Move this.
All nice and sparkly.
Okay, I guess. M17. This is W, wasn't it? So M17 should be over here. Police badge. Los Angeles. Criminal Investigation Department. What? Huh? Why is that in a locker? Okay, I guess. All the question marks? Okay. Get this area cleaned up so I can start putting all like the chairs and shit back. Ah. Get clean, damn it! Fuck you. Floor. Thank you. Alright, we'll find the other thing in a bit. Get this cleaned up. I want to go into that room behind me last, because it's one that wasn't there before. Oh my god. Oh my god! It's so dirty, so fucking fast. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is actually doing pretty great. Oh, fucking damn it.
Mysterious ways.
Okay, I did not think it was going to be strong enough to break through vases. But fine. Of course, it was going to be short. One shard. Oh, it's the drain. Of course it is. Okay. Wow, this really is really effective in here. Except that I can't really look too close to those things. Like I just shattered that bottle. All right, come here. And then none of my sponges are clean. Because of course they aren't. Oh, I see that key icon too. M34. M34 was down here, wasn't it? W18. Why did you have a women's card in your locker, sir? 42. Oh, hey. Ruby. Nice. Already got the big collectible. Okay. Let's go try to clean up some of these other sections. Without breaking shit, please. This is fine-ish. Better than breaking more shit, honestly. Better than breaking more shit. Okay. You're not on this side. Back you up. Oh, right. Never mind. I did not need to pack you up. Come back here. Oh, whoops. Oh, it's practically empty. Okay. All right, we're gonna need to use him to clean the ceilings. Come here. Now we're just playing Power Wash Sim. You know, if Power Wash Sim 2 just was fine with raising its rating and added in like some pretty gnarly stuff, I would be so gung-ho for playing it on stream. Usually I just play Power Wash Sim in my own free time. I missed some. Oh, I missed a decent amount, actually. Of course, there was a ridge. Okay. Now, here, we're gonna do it with... Come back here. Fill you up. And we're gonna use you to clean this room. It's fine, it's just cleaning off mosaics. To get dirty so quickly. Oh, shit. Hi, is key. Nice. Okay. Get all this cleaned up. Clean up most of this so that it's not like I'm not gonna hose down this vase by accident. Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Come back here. I hit one again because I'm dumb. Like Viscera cleanup detailed gnarly? That'd be kind of fun. Or even just like doing crime scene stuff over there because they have like a really good like power washing system. Like, it's really satisfying. One that's like more... Oh, I missed quite a lot over here. Okay. go get you refilled. I forget, does this one have a... It does, okay. Okie dokie. After the cleaning, extremely. He is extremely that. Okay, then. I think the one I'm either most scared for is doing the art museum at some point. Oh. I don't think there's any more in here. Garbage bags. Where did I leave a garbage bag? Right here. Let's go. Go in here. Still looking for 3 bodies. White blood, collect evidence. Put stuff back. One chair. Missing a table. Oh, it's right there. Come here. Damn it. Stand up straight. Oh boy. Ugh. Oh wait, we also got another ticket, didn't we? Hold on a second. Lance. I know where your ass goes. I know where your ass goes.
Back where it belongs.
Hate that. I hate that they did that. That's so mean. Alright, hold on. We need to clean our shit. Alright. Get you emptied out. Get out our detergent. Alright, let's go. Immediately dirty. I swear this game is messing with me. There's no way it should be getting that dirty that fast. Did I only pick speed? Is that the only upgrades? Hold on. Can I check them? Difficulty stains. Slower, slower. Okay. Did fine. Did totally fine. I'm trying to get to you, buddy. Alright, where's the one map we didn't completely sully? Yep. Good lord. I swear, these guys just like, they look fine. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay, where's that Eddie Murphy gif of him like looking into the bathroom? Wet Jim? Alright, let's go, buddy. We're gonna need the power washer refilled. Into the pile with you. Okay. And then we need you. We'll just refill you now while we're here. Alright, alright. Jesus Christ. No, do not. Lights? Lights, I swear to God. I'm pretty sure this map was made for the sole purpose of teaching you to use the power washer. I think that's what somebody told me the first time we did this map. I'm pretty sure. Who the fuck is Jim? The guy we were working for, his name was Big Jim. Wait a second. Okay, I missed a lot more than I thought I did. And so much on the floor. God damn it. We haven't even gotten the upgrade yet for this thing. So that we can put any of the detergent stuff in it. It's fine. Totally fine. Okay. Ceiling time. You can't fire if you have no bullets. Are y'all still catfighting? All right, the rest of reasonable chat. Are they still fighting? Does this look like kids playing, not laser tag, freeze tag, but they have force fields? Is that what this looks like? 'Cause that's what this feels like. Let's go. I'll refill you again. Never stopped? I figured. I figured. We're only at 94, so I'm guessing that other room's gonna count for collect evidence. You're a cup. Okay. A ton of time. Excellent. Hey, buddy. What the fuck? M25. All right, let's go. And then we'll check out that locker. Also, the music changing to like this weird like jungle theme. What the fuck? Get in there.
No need.
Oh, right. $25. Make sure I leave these ones open. Oh! Oh, that's horrifying. Oh, I don't like that one bit. I don't like that at all. I don't like that. Ever, even so slightly. Okay. So that's all the bodies. But we still have a lot to clean up. So... Are you clean? You are clean. Okay. Let's do it this way. We're still missing a decent amount of evidence. Clean the stone, clean the stone. It's fine. It's fine that the mops don't clean that much, and it's totally fine. I'm not upset. I'm very upset. I'm very upset. I didn't want to accidentally break those vases. The vases. Oh. Oh God, Ronald Weasley. It's Leviosa. Oh, Leviosa. Oh, God damn it. What have I become? What have I become? what the fuck? Okay. Everything just miraculously cleaned itself because I got close to the percentage, I guess. Okay. So we're still missing evidence. Why won't you budge? Furniture back. We're missing chairs and stuff. Chair and table. There's the table. That's very strange. Okay, so maybe I need to look a little bit harder for the chair. Chair. Cuck chair. That's not the chair we're looking for. Open says me. Let's go check some of these lockers real quick. Open, open, open. Why are you a different color? Hello? Anything up top? Ordain's running, get him? Oh, hello, Dreamcatcher. Oh!
I offer this body to the Wicked One.
Yes, spirit animal is awake now.
Huh?
Through us, the shackles of society.
Society.
Hail the Wicked One.
It's a deer. It's a deer. The Wicked One is a deer. Really? Where's the fucking chair? Put you away. Hour.
Well, that door's closed.
Did we leave one of the chairs in the bathroom? Aha, I was right.
Making a mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't bread over every egg.
Okay, we're still missing an evidence. What room? An onion? It's garlic and onion. They're roasting people alive in here. Next! Welcome in, Raiders. How was your stream? Mech Jocks. Mech Jocks. I don't like that name. That's not a good title. Who came up with that title? Evidence. Evidence, evidence, evidence. Would it be another... Okay. Bowl's full. I half expected something else to happen. Okay. I'm not leaving without this clue, even if I end up having to look that shit up. What did I miss? There's so many weird glows all over the place on this map, too, that I'm just... Maybe... Are any of these interactable? No, pick up. Duck. Anyway. Daily Doom post. Anyway. I swear you are not supposed to be that color. Or have duck. Have duck. Have duck. Rags. Okay, let's go check the other bathroom. It's definitely not Roman the coffee maker. Flush toilet. All ducks in the no duck zone? I don't think so. It doesn't look like it's a no duck zone. It's like a goofy sign. It looks like do not observe duck or something. Okay, it's just bird sounds. Okay. I thought I heard somebody whispering to me and I got like really freaked out for a second. Gorlick. All right, hold on. Hold on. We're doing the thing. We gotta do the thing. So, oh, we have ad break. Okay, we'll take a brief break. I will give you all the Gardic phone again. We have ad break in like 10 seconds. 10 seconds. The Duck Seer? Not the Duck Seer. Is there a full PNG? My design chart, or well, my character sheet is on any of my social medias. 10 whole seconds? 10 whole seconds, buddy. 10 whole seconds. Long past. Long past. Also, we can bring the music pack for this game, I think. Little bit higher. That's an eternity. I know, I know. Oh, interesting. Okay. Thanks, Steam community, for the hints. All right. There we go. Actually paused it. I was just gonna stand here. Tart? Sugar. I'm guessing that's sugar. Sugar. Lime. Lemon. Who was doing a green lemon? Child. Baby. Soccer. Sweet potato? I could not believe I got that right. Recycle. No. Rich. Fancy. Money. Hospital. Hospital. No. Emergency. Emergency room? Clinic. Damn it. Don't say it, Sunstart. Don't say it. All right, we'll restart. We'll give you one more level after this one. How could you, chat? You failed me. You failed me. You failed yourself? How dare you? I had the most answers. I had the most answers. I was the most smartest. I said it that way on purpose. Please and thank you. Oh, goodness. Goodness. All right. You had to. I had to. Shush up. Maybe. Maybe. Oh my god, the number of fucking keys we have. All right. Hold on, I need a good stretch. Good lord. Okay. That actually felt great. Oh my goodness. Amphibian? What the hell is that bottom right one? Levitate? Is that man levitating? Dynamite. Bomb. Cheese. Tape? Or is it scotch? Tape. What are you screaming at, Kelly? Cheese grater. Darn it. Well, I don't think it's a water gun. I think that was a sniper rifle. All right. Let's put this away. Am home. Well, welcome home. All right. I think I know what we need to do. There's a thing here. Somewhere. Well, there's the evidence back there. Oh. Ooh. Spooky. Dreamcatcher. Oh, hi. Oh, that's where the dagger was. Join our tribe? Screaming because they was construction 30 feet from my head during orientation day. Got my employee discount. What do you mean you got the don't you work at a hospital now? I was gonna say, I thought you worked at a hospital now. What do you mean employee discount? We're playing the music over the game. I mean, I could swap them. I could turn the music back off and the game back up. Boom. Boom. What are you slamming, Ordain? $100%, baby. 100% on a game mode that doesn't give me any money. Fisherman special. How do I equip skins? Good morning. How do I... Can I go to the basement to see if I change skins down there? Why is the door always open? Hello? Hello? Close you. Oh, we missed tapes. Fuck. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's down here. Maybe your energy door somewhere else? Exclamation? Settings? No. Okay, hold on. Crime scene cleaner. Change skins. How do you equip skins? Me this. That's TikTok. I don't want to go to TikTok for a guide. I'm gonna have to go to a video for a guide, aren't I? Fraggle, fraggle. It's in the iPad, isn't it? Oh, it is in the iPad. I'm just really dumb. Oh my god. The Fisherman Special? Okay. Where was the... Oh, it's axe or metal pipe. It's definitely axe. We're keeping axe. Oh my god, we can get a pizza truck? We can get a pizza truck? Amazing. Pimp my car. Survivor. Bogado. Elegant suit from the Bogado series. No idea what that is. The one that I want though is I want the wormhole. I want the black hole trash can. But we have to do the art museum to get that one. And the art museum is fucking huge. Toxic love. This was the... Okay, yeah, this is the parents' house. Let's do this one. I heard the raggle fraggle. Raggle fraggle! Ah, somebody help me! Scurries into the office and sits next. Hi, Ordain. How are you doing? That's not the house. Where's that?
Love makes us prisoners of someone we barely
A lot more crime scene cleaner. I don't know about a lot more, but it is very relaxing. It's very enjoyable for me. Marin won't save you from the shampoo. He do be kind of stinky. He do be kind of stinky. All right. Fill these up. Let's go. Beamsh. Beamsh. My mop is... Oh, okay. Wasn't really ready for that. Oh, hi. I'm sure that's fine. Hello.
I say.
Oh, of course. Uh-huh. Okay. Fuck you.
Well, look what we got here.
Oh! Okay. And all the mannequins are gone. That's... Well, they're not gone. Fuck. Come here. Die. You come here. Die. Get in the bag. Get in the bag. In the bag with you! You can stop levitating. Okay, then. Give me those keys. Hidden memories keys. This is the same memo from before. Fish, 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 fish. And completely dirty. Oh, hello. Better not be horrors beyond my comprehension. Knives! Women! Oh. Because he was trafficking them. Oh. Knives and women? Hell yeah, dude. Okay, what else is upstairs? Oh, you bitch ass. Come here. No. Chat, they're coming after me. They just keep coming. Where's the others? Ah! Ah! In the bag with you. Where'd the head go? I see you, ass. Weirdly enough, these are really fitting all into the bin really easily compared to, like, the porcelain. Oh, dear. Oh, wait, no, that worked. Oh, son of a bitch. No, it didn't. I see every one of yous in here. I ain't having any of it.
Need to empty the trash can first.
Come here. So they are taking up space of some kind. They're just not really taking up as much space as you would expect. Hello. And we know the daughter. Yeah. Did this. Oh, hi. I don't like you being out there. Why would I say no? Because holes. Oh, there's a bunch of the heads. Okay then. Oh, okay, that was the hidden memories key. Okay. You can also go in the bin. Okay. Oh, wait. Clean. Clean. Okay, everything else is good. All right, what's down here? What's in the hellscape? Hello? Box?
Open sesame.
Oh, good lord. Footprints for some reason.
Locked.
And definitely has stuff inside. Okay then. Wait a second. I don't trust this. No. 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 No.
Can't pick up anything with a full bag.
Absolutely not. Absolutely no fucking way in hell. Okay. Yobby. Nice. Okay then. Yeah, it's New Divide. It's a cover by, I think this is Halcyon's cover. Oh, god damn it. I swear, the material that, like, is actually part of the mission to clean up is... takes up way more space than... in the bin. Most anything else. Is it on the other side? It is. It's counting it on the other side, even though it's not visible. I'm sure whatever they were doing in here was totally wholesome. Completely and totally wholesome. Fire, water, or flying? Oh my god. Get stabbed by women? Is this flirting? Listen, that's basically on par with a lot of people. Myself included. Anyway, Kobe. It didn't work. Here we go. So much ketchup they left behind. CPR practice dummy. Oh, baby. Oh, hey, hold on.
Well,
I'm sure this will be fine. I knew something was gonna scare me. I knew something was gonna do it. But even then, I still wasn't ready. What do you mean first time? I get jump scared all the time. Fuck you. Okay. Is that the wicked one?
Yep, that's me.
Why is
You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
checking in? Jesus Christ, what the fuck did you do? You know what? That's an appropriate reaction. Unfortunately. Okay. Excuse me. We're just gonna pick you up here. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. All right. Clean up the floor with my fish. Dirtied my whole floor. Dirtied my whole floor that was already spotless. Wow, she really just kind of spilled her guts everywhere on this one. I should probably check for other handprints. I think we're good. I don't think there's any other handprints. Okay. Yeah, she came out of here. Oh. Yeah. I just believe True Love would say... Okay, this is the same... Yeah, this is the same letter. Oh. Oh! Oh! Gonna start taking some bodies. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Are they so big? They're all over the fucking walls, Carvo! They're all different sizes! Fuck! Boy, I'm glad that cleaned up real nicely. Clean fish, clean sponge, clean sponge. All right, where's this other body? I have a stinking suspicion that somebody like just exploded in here. And that's why all three of the people that were in here were just kind of thrown up against the wall. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. Hello? Oh, good lord. I thought it was a different kind of pickup. Okay, let's go, champ. You must be the shitbag. Or the father, in this case. Maybe hallucinating. I think this is like our actual nightmares. This is like we're asleep. And this is like our nightmare version of things. Because it does say we're like exploring our own nightmares. Christ.
I should clean it first.
Oh, you are dirty? I did not think that the thing was dirty at first. It's fucking filthy! Don't buy a zebra carpet, kids. Whatever you do not buy a zebra carpet. I beg you. I beg you and plead. It's not gonna look good no matter how much you like it. Unless you live in like one of those like Great Hunt Lodge looking places. Goodness. Unless you live in like a cabin and you go hunting like a lot and like to keep trophies, it's really tacky and it's really ugly. So unless you look like Ernest Hemingway is basically what I'm saying. Oh. Mirrors! Oh, that's fucked. Also, don't trust a person that has mirrors on their ceiling. They're gonna kill you. That or they're a narcissist. Absolutely no mirrors on the ceiling over a bed. Never ever. Okay, well, okay. I don't think there was... Let's go check real quick. I'm like, what? Oh, okay, yeah, there's no... I'll take you with me. There's no, faucet, that's the word I'm looking for. So we have to take this back out here. Clean yourself up. All right. Bring you back. And now we gotta do, which is going to be probably the most annoying part. Immediately dirty. Both of them are completely dirty. Anyway. Okay, well at least this place cleans pretty well with the power washer. Maybe just cleaning just using the power washer for this room may be the best idea. Even if we're essentially pushing all the trash around. And we're out. Let's go. Yeah, that gets way more done than anything else. Feemsh, yeah, feemsh. I now have a mop that looks like a feemsh. Looks like a whole finch. Yeah, you can lay on the floor, that's fine. Oh god, the sounds of the bed getting cleaned I don't like. Ooh, lag? Hello? If I turn around and there's horrors behind me, I'm gonna be pissed. I don't trust lag. You don't trust lag in horror games, kids. Don't ever trust lag in a horror game. That just means the scares are coming. Okay. I guess we start doing some of the walls. Actually, there's not much on the ceiling. Let's... Oh. Immediately out. Okay. Too bad we didn't upgrade this thing enough that we can put detergent in it. I'm actually kind of curious. What level of upgrades do we have for this thing? Pressure washer. Some. We have some. All right. Gimme. Okay. This is fine. I'm sure. Totally fine. Get clean, damn you! We can't get all the upgrades. We can technically get all the upgrades if we do, like, the missions over. We can do the missions over, or at some point we can do, like, the pure clean game mode. And we get more achievements and more skins and stuff. Oh, son of a bitch. Come here. Okay, I just wanted to get the ceiling. Let's go do this. Wholesome cleaning simulator? Totally wholesome cleaning simulator. Totally wholesome. Completely and totally. Cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. Okay. At least this game, and nor does Power Wash Sim, have a realistic, like, water volume mechanic. Because can you imagine how much we would be flooding a room? Oh, damn it. That's okay. Oh, you're practically empty. Fine, we'll go refill you. Blood is the family-friendly item. Everyone has it. That's true. Everyone does have blood. It is quite family-friendly, I suppose. We still have to do the other back room. There's still one of the back rooms we're missing. Well, I don't know if calling it a back room is the best term. It's more like a production room. Something like that. Yeah, we'll call it a production room. Or a lounge, if you will. Thanks, Huey Lewis. Okay. The back room? What do you mean the back rooms? Okay. You do good? Missed some. Other than that, I think we're good. All right. Clean them up. Clean, Bean. 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 Alright, let's do this. It was this room. Yes, excellent. Okay. I swear these mops get so dirty so fucking fast, dude. We're already at 98%. I think this is about to just like, yeah, complete it for us. See, we didn't even have to clean up that other shit. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's everything. We can actually just leave you there. Like, everything's done. Let's go see if there's anything weird upstairs. Oh, wait, we're missing evidence. Actually, I think that's at first floor. So, well, base floor. Okay, hold on. That means we need to go back down. All right, all right. Move furniture back. Chair. 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 Chair? Chair? Hmm. What does that chair look like? Okay, it's the basic, like, white plastic one. Oh god, this is gonna be in one of the cages or the rooms, isn't it? Hello? Hello? White chair. Hmm. Okay. It's you. And then we still gotta find the evidence. Collect evidence 1. That's a lot of knives. Macaroons. Working for a living? Is that what you're saying you want the playlist for? I miss Huey Lewis. And Teller News. Teller News. Penn and Teller? Also don't like the lingering mist. Okay. Evidence. Evidence. Yeah, okay, it has to be on the ground floor. Have we found the music box on this level? I don't think we found the music box yet. Duck. Duck. Olive oil? Okay. Skull. Duck observed? Duck has been observed. You're correct. Thing is, I can interact with a lot of these things, but I don't think any of these things are gonna have money in them or things you can steal like in the original one. Oh, hello, there you are. It's a suicide note. Okay. Did we get... I don't think we got the record, did we? Right? Chat, did we get the record? Right? So we've had Ruby, we've had Sapphire. Is the record on record? Chat A? Shut up. How could you? That's illegal. That's illegal. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Wait. Oh, okay. We missed another fucking secret. Oh. Okay. Hi. Emeralds. I was hoping it was going to say like mint. If I turn around and there's things behind me. Cuck chair. Thank you for self-care. All right, I think we're good. That's everything. We're gone. We're done. Do I have to clean the skeleton too? No, I was hitting Q while I was in there to see if there was anything that was dirty. But I needed to clean. There was not. That was just where the fucking disc was hidden. All right. And we got the Survivor skin. Smooth operator achievement. Good morning. Where's my hand? Can't see a chair in the corner. Cuck chair. Nice. Oh, let's do the skinting. Outfit. Equip. Now we have chains. Chains on my hands. All right. Close this fucking door. Did we always have this coffee maker? Wait, this is a coffee maker. This is just a hot water, cold water dispenser, isn't it? Anyway, back in my closet. All right. Chats. I have bad news. I have bad news. Can we be a whittle maid? What do you mean a whittle maid? No, I don't think that. The other one looks like it's a suit. The other outfit that we get in this game looks like it's a suit of some kind, which I'm guessing is like something similar to like a Sopranos reference. But who knows? All right, though. Who's getting hot water? You never know when you need hot water if you're making tea or like instant coffee or anything like that. There's a lot of things that need it. A lot of things. But we need to find somebody to raid. Who is doing what? I think I already know who we're going to raid. I am 99% sure. Yes, I know who we're going to raid. We're going to raid Haneto. Haneto is doing, it's like her third day. Oh, I am freezing. Oh, internet, please don't die. Internet, please don't die. Whoo! Oh, my internet may have died. Oh, shit. Close to dying. I went fully in the red. I went fully in the red. All right. Hashtag I've cleaned the bodies in my basement. That's it. That's the raid message. But we're going to raid Haneto. She is on the third day of her brand new outfit. She's doing like the Hanetathon. I think she's off. Maybe she's on vacation or something because she's been streaming early this week. So we're going to raid Catwife. All right. Hashtag I've cleaned the bodies in my basement. That's going to be the raid message, guys. With the comfy emotes. With the cozy emotes. I will see you guys later. Not tonight, but tomorrow after stream, me and Lucian are going to be watching Lord of the Mysteries. If you haven't been watching it, it's a Chinese anime in Victorian age eldritch horror style. If you want to catch up with us, we're going to be watching episode 9 tomorrow, which somebody actually told me yesterday new episodes come out on Friday, and I've been thinking they come out on Monday. So, you know, regardless, I will see you guys tomorrow, noon CDT. Tomorrow's going to be an all yapping day. I'm not sure what we're going to do. It may end up being food. It may end up being something else. We may do more conspiracies. And by conspiracies, I mean, at this rate for biology stuff, we're probably going to have to go look at young Earth creationism, and it's going to suck ass. But until then, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you. Oh, wait, what the hell? Did I lose? I lost the copy paste I had. I'm upset. Until next time, guys, thank you for being here, and thank you for enjoying the show. Until then, though, have a good night. Later.